So today I want to introduce our speaker, Maika Llorens Gulati. I met Maika when I was doing some volunteer work at Slide Ranch over in Marin County. And I had never seen or heard of this organization, but we went out to help them prepare the next season, I guess, of Slide Ranch with the children. It is an amazing facility. I'm going to let her tell you about it, but when I saw the facility and what they were doing and how beautiful it was, I wanted to have somebody come tell us about it so that we could share that great facility in Marin County. So, Maika Llorens Gulati has served as the first elected Hispanic school board trustee at the San Rafael Board of Education since 2015, finishing her term in December 2020 as president of the board. She's passionate about education, equity, and the environment, and Maika is the executive director of Slide Ranch, a nonprofit in West Marin connecting children to nature. Prior to that, she served for 6 years as the executive director of HeadsUp, San Rafael's Public Education Foundation. Maika was a co-founder and co-owner of a small business in downtown San Rafael for 5 years, Sabor of Spain, when she received the Best Small Business of the Year award and Best Customer Service award. Maika has over 20 plus years of international marketing and communication experience working with Fortune 500, midsize, and entrepreneurial companies in both technology and services sectors. She is also a co-founder of the School Board Liaison of Schools Rules, a council member of Marin Promise, Voices of Marin Planning Committee, and a member of the San Rafael Chamber Education Committee. Previously, she served as board member for the San Rafael Downtown Improvement District and the San Rafael Chamber of Commerce. Maika was also part of the Committee of Measures A and B Parcel Tax Campaign and a member of the City of San Rafael Climate Change Action Plan Green Ribbon Initiative. And in 2017, she received the Hector Cortez Community Service Award by the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Marin for her passion as a strong advocate of high quality education and the first elected Hispanic Board Trustee of San Rafael City School Board. She and her husband, Ashwin, have resided in San Rafael since 1998. They are the proud parents of two recently graduated San Rafael High School students. Maika received her BS in Marketing and Business Administration from ESIC in Spain, and she is a biliterate and bicultural in English and Spanish. So let's welcome Maika to the Golden Gate Breakfast Club.
Good morning, and thank you so much, Tony. Wow, that's a long introduction. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here today with all of you. And I to mention that one of my kids has also a tattoo, and she didn't ask me for permission. So the fact that they are asking for permission, I think, is already like amazing. So yeah, thank you so much for having me here today. I met Tony, as he was mentioning, when he was volunteering at the Slide Ranch with First Republic, and thanks to that, we were able to bring about 71% of our kids that they came to the spring break program from the canal in San Rafael, which is, a very underserved community that we have. So I don't know if we can, if I could share maybe my screen.
Yes, you should let me make you co-host. I'm sorry.
Great. That might help if you see the visuals. And of course, I love to hear everything about the El Camino de Santiago. I'm originally from Spain, and believe it or not, I haven't done it yet, but it's definitely on my list to do. So I love to hear all the stories about that. I would love to connect with you offline too.
You can should be able to share now.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Great. So yeah, as Tony mentioned, I am the very fortunate executive director of Slide Ranch. I found this. I call it my unicorn because I think the land is extremely powerful, and the mission connecting kids to nature is. It just brings me so much joy. So I think I feel very fortunate to have a job where I can actually enjoy most of my days. So what you're looking at right now is the picture of our coast. So we have amazing tide pools. And so welcome to Slide Ranch. This is our new Farm to Table Teaching Center. And I say new because it was opened in September of 2017. And we are an organization that we were founded in 1970. So we are 52 years old and we are very proud of our new building. We have a master plan to rebuild some of our old ones. So you are looking at right now, we have 134 acres of coastal land between Muir Beach and Stinson Beach. So probably you have driven through Highway 1 and on your left you saw a Slide Ranch and you were wondering what that was. Well, this is what we do here. We see kids from all over the Bay Area, and this is a little bit of our history. So we have deep connections with the Grateful Dead, which is the part that a lot of people are always very interested to hear about it. But Slide Ranch, the land actually was part of the coastal Miwoks, where they will actually come and gather food for thousands of years before the Portuguese came over, and dairy farmers purchased the land, and they were there for like about 100 years until 1950. And then, of course, it was bought by a developer from Southern California, and they wanted to build, like a resort and freeways. And thanks to some clever people, like the ones that you are seeing here, Doug Ferguson and Susie Washington Smith, they were able to save the land. So it's currently part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. So it's a federal land. And if you haven't seen it, there is a wonderful documentary called Rebels with a Cause that explains how the marine headlands were saved from development. So I encourage you to look at that. So again, Slide Ranch was established in 1970 as a nonprofit organization, and we were the first partner in the GGNRA. And the beginning of Slide Ranch was basically the Doug Ferguson was the lawyer that made possible this purchase of the land for the national park, and he was also the lawyer for the Grateful Dead. So when we started Slide Ranch, the Grateful Dead were there with their families for weekends. They will go on road trips and they will actually leave their kids at Slide Ranch. Our first executive director was the road manager for the Grateful Dead as well. And our first donor was Jerry Garcia, and he gave us in 1970 $500, which was a lot of money back then. So as you can see, we were a little bit hippie, in the way that we started. I want to say that probably we're still a little bit hippie. And the idea was actually to bring the kids from San Francisco, from Oakland, from the city to basically experience nature. Because that's something that usually in underserved communities don't really have that access. And it's one of the inequities that we see. Transportation is one of the biggest challenges. So our mission is that we cultivate the healthy bodies and minds to foster future generations of environmental stewards. So when the kids come to Slide Ranch, it has a huge impact that sometimes you don't see it on that visit, but it really stays with them. And I can tell you right now that we just hired a ranch hand that works on Saturdays. He's a junior in high school, and he's been coming to Slide Ranch since he was 4 years old. So it really has an impact on them and choosing like environmental careers as well. I came to Slide Ranch when my son was in second grade, and now he's a junior in college, and he's studying environmental design. So I want to think that, that has to do a little bit with it. He mentions that the trip to Slide Ranch from all the field trips he did was the one that he remembered the most and really had an impact. So I'm very proud, to hear that. And you see here some of the quotes from, from the kids that they come to visit. What is shocking to me is that we still have kids in the Bay Area that they haven't actually been living by the bay, but they haven't been next to the ocean, or they actually haven't camped. So when they come, sometimes they are scared they are going to find a bear. They have to, their cell phone is not working. So it is a little bit shocking for them, and by the time they leave, they are just like transformed with this experience and really started looking at nature. Because if you think about when you were growing up, you were probably, climbing trees and, discovering all these amazing things that nature has to offer. And many of our kids nowadays, especially after COVID, they are, completely into electronics and not really understanding that we are all nature and we have to, we are part of nature and it's our duty to protect it, but also see the connections between our ecosystems. So you see some of the kids here when they come, they spend 1 or 2 nights at the Slide Ranch. They are actually doing like a campfire right here. So it's not just what they are learning in terms of science, but it's also the emotional intelligence. And also, I'll give you an example. On Sundays, we have kids from probation that they come and they volunteer in the garden. So they also understand that there is a different world, than the one that sometimes they are experiencing. Um, so this is what we do. We do day trips, overnights. We have family programs on the weekends. We offer summer camps, spring break camps, and winter break camps. TIRs is our teacher in residence program. We get about 10 teachers that they spend like 10 and a half months living at a Slide Ranch and becoming our environmental educators and learning everything about farming. And then as a nonprofit, we also offer experiences and events as a source of revenue that allow us to offer scholarships. So this is a lot of probably more information that you want to see. So, but basically we see kids, I'm just going to cruise by these because I think it's a lot. But I can tell you that we see like about 1/3 of the kids come from San Francisco, 1/3 from Marin County, and 1/3 from the East Bay. And then we have other kids that they come from farther away that they actually have. They will come for like 2 nights usually because, it's a little bit of a ride. And about 65% of our schools and community groups that they visit are from low-income communities. We see an average of 10,000 people before COVID. So now it's a little bit less, but because of COVID as well, we started doing farm to Zoom. So we are able to provide virtual visits all over the world. We had some people actually from England that participated in one of our farm to Zoom visits and classroom visits. This is an example of some of the schools that we see in San Francisco, if you're familiar with them. The asterisk shows the Title I schools that we see there. These are the ones from Alameda County. I can tell you in in Marin County, we see a lot of kids from San Rafael, again from the Canal, from Novato, from Marin City, from West Marin. So you can see a little bit the way that we schedule this. We want to make sure that we plant every kid in nature, and we offer scholarships for like Title I schools or kids that they're coming from underserved communities. And then, of course, if it's a private school, we still see them, but they are definitely paying like a higher fee, again, to be able to afford all this. And so in the revenue generating experiences that we do occasionally farm to table, or like if you have a business and you want to do a holiday party, you can rent the space. We can offer a chef, or you can bring your own. In the summer we offer glamping, which is these very fancy tents with beds and like mattresses, memory foams, and very, very cozy. And our campsite again is next to the ocean. So you see on the right picture a group of girls that they have scoliosis, and they have a new device that they can use. So they came for like the weekend just to do like a retreat and talk about it's a very isolating issue when you have scoliosis, because you have to wear these big things, and when you are like 13 years old, like in middle school, it is not the most appealing thing for somebody that is so aware of their image. So they have this new product that they do, and they basically came to the ranch to do like a little video and document that. You see one of our chefs in residence in the middle, and you see some of the kids just doing goat yoga in there. We have like a wonderful goats and sheep and chickens and ducks and bees, and access to the titles. So again, is that access to to the farm and really understanding where the food is coming from. Where it's always really funny when I see the kids seeing for the first time where the eggs are coming from. They had no idea. They thought it was coming from the fridge. So and yeah, there's all sorts of questions when they are milking goats as well. So it's and then here you can see corporate volunteer experiences. This is what Tony was doing with First Republic. Sometimes we bring businesses for employee engagement, offsite meetings, and it's a huge help financially, but also to the ranch, because 134 acres, we have a lot of trails that everybody can do on their own. It's open to everybody every day of the year from sunrise to sunset, so it's hard to maintain it. And this is basically at the end of the presentation. So I think I have one more in here that is basically, if you would like to be involved, things that you can do. We would love to have you. So you could sign up for our newsletter. We are in social media, so Instagram, Facebook. We have great pictures of our animals. You can volunteer on your own. You can bring your group as well. We would love for you to become a member and be part of Slide Ranch, to support our scholarship program, and sponsor a student or sponsor a class. So because we can only offer scholarships when we get those sponsorships, and come visit us. It would be great to have you here. So we have a goal to bring 300 children from San Francisco and Alameda, actually a Marin County as well, to sleep under the stars. So we would love to basically get the support. So again, thank you so much, and let me know if you have any questions. I speak very fast, so let me know. I look forward to your questions, and I'll stop sharing the screen. Let's see if I can go back. There we go.
Wow.
Trying to get my thing here. Thank you so much, Michael. Let's everybody come off and give her a big round of applause. And if you have any questions, Patricia, I saw your hand up. Let's go ahead and start asking questions.
Well, that was wonderful. So tell me, if we want to just come and spend the day wandering around, we make an appointment? How does that work?
No, so because we are a national park and our goal is to bring as many people as possible, we are open every day of the year, including holidays, from sunrise to sunset. So you can just come over and explore. I will say, if you want to visit like our animal enclosures inside, then you can schedule a tour. But otherwise, you can just come. The animals are right next to their fences, so you can still see them. You can hike the different trails, including visit the tide pools. And I would just suggest, like, be aware, if you want to call in the morning and say, do you have a group today? Because if we have like a big school, we have limited parking spaces. So that's our only challenge. But for most parts, it's always open. So.
All right. And do you have a little restauranty place that we can buy a delicious lunch that is cooked there?
We actually don't. We only do that like in advance. Like if you have a group that wants to come over, yeah. But we are so we have the space, but we don't really have cooking facilities. So I mean, we have cooking facilities, but we don't usually do it to the public.
All right. Well, you teased us with that image, you see, so made us hungry. But thank you. That was wonderful presentation, and well, congratulations for the good you're doing.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Carol Keeley, you have a question?
Yes, I'd like to know how do you find your attendees for your program, and tell me a little bit more about your glamping, because I'd love to do that.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't understand the second question. I couldn't hear you.
Glamping under the stars.
Oh, glamping, yes. So for our groups, because we were established in 1970, we have been seeing kids for 52 years. So we have like recurrent schools, but we have like a strong push for equity. So we really look at different, in the different areas, the schools that we want to work with, that they are Title I schools. And what we do is that usually we open registrations for them a week in advance, before the private schools to make sure that because we sell out, to make sure that they have the opportunity to come as well. So it's also through different partnerships with, like BACR is Bay Area Community Resources, and they run a lot of the after school programs and summer programs for Title I schools in the Bay Area. So we will partner with them as well to help us make sure that all the kids can actually have those important connections. In terms of glamping, they are open from June through September. So actually last weekend was the last weekend that we had. And it's basically you can just rent one tent or you can actually rent the entire space.
Oh.
And again, it's a source of revenue for us. So it's, they will be back in June. So
See you next year.
yes, we would love to have you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Next, any questions? Mike, what's the easiest way to get to Slide Ranch? It's even though it's on Highway 1, sometimes it's difficult to notice. I drove by it many times, and the only reason I found it, I was actually hiking Marin Headlands area and over in that between Stinson and Muir Beach, and saw it and go, what the heck is that? And then I got to go volunteer, and I found out how to get there. So what's the best way to do that?
Sure. So if you come on Highway 1, so you go to Tam Jackson, I think if you just go towards Muir Beach, that's the key. And then when you're in Muir Beach, you are going to pass the Pelican Inn. And if you haven't visited the Pelican Inn, it's a British pub and it is really fun and pretty authentic. I was just in London this summer and I was sitting in a pub and I'm like, it tastes the same that the Pelican Inn. So I suggest that you also do a stop in there. So as you go from the Pelican Inn to Stinson Beach, you're going to pass the Muir Beach Overlook. And once you pass the Muir Beach Overlook towards Stinson, you will see shortly will be right on your left. So, but go slowly because it's hard to miss. We just have a sign from Slide Ranch because it's the national park. That is the sign that allow us to have, so we can't have any more. But we are right there as you start heading down, past a bunch of curves. So I think the key words are like Muir Beach, Pelican Inn, Muir Beach Overlook, and then Slide Ranch.
Okay.
Bill Buchanan, you had your hand up earlier.
Yes, Micah, thanks very much for the presentation. My wife and I have lived in Mill Valley since 1975. Never been out there. So,
oh my goodness.
well, we're definitely going to make an appointment to come out and see it. Anyway, as you were talking, it reminded me of 1983. I was sitting at my desk in the FBI office in San Francisco, and a colleague of mine came up and had said, "You got to help me out, Bill. I know you're a mountaineer. I've got a bunch of Boy Scouts over in West Oakland. I'm now the scoutmaster. I don't know what to do. I want to take them out in a wilderness experience. Can you put it together?" I said, "Sure." So I designed a trip up into the immigrant wilderness, which my buds and I were in 2 weeks ago. And we marched on out there, spent a week, 35 miles through alpine terrain with these Boy Scouts from West Oakland. And at the planning session, one of the first questions was, "Hey, Mr. Bill, where do we go to the bathroom out there?" "Look, don't worry about that. We'll take care of it, okay?" And it was it was as an amazing experience for them, I suspect, that as it was for us, And about a month later, we asked the scoutmaster how the boys liked it, and he said he lived over there in West Oakland also. He said, they haven't stopped talking about it. And I said to myself, well, and this is a question for you, Micah. Do you, what we were interested in was keeping this going, this urge to get out in the wild country like I've had forever. I'm 80 years old, still doing it. Is there any kind of follow-up, or do you notice any interest in getting out in wild country ignited in these inner city kids? I mean, these kids, we took 6 of their best Boy Scouts. Their idea of wilderness was a trash-strewn vacant lot. And then we take them out into some of the wildest country in the Sierras. Do you see a recurring interest in these kids who have never been out in the wilderness before?
Well, I can tell you actually that last week and this week we actually have Elmhurst School coming from Auckland, and last Thursday they were coming for like a one night trip, and we had 30 kids scheduled, and only 17 came because they were scared of camping here, being in nature. And then the next day we had 30 kids, and then they are going to be coming again this Thursday and Friday, like four different classes. So as the kids are talking to each other and they realize how fun it is, and we have like goats and sheep and chickens and ducks, and they get really, I mean, they are milking goats, and they are camping here, they are setting up their tents. It is that experience that it really transforms them after they have experienced it. But before that, they don't really know, So that's why we really reach out to make sure that these communities, at least they can come once to experience it, and then to help them find that nature wherever they live as well. So, but I don't think, especially kids nowadays, between the distance learning during COVID, all the computers, all the phones, and everything that is available to them in communities that they are, that they're underserved. The parents have like 2-3 jobs. They don't have the luxury of parents going like, we are going to go for a hike and jump in the car. So I think we as a community have to make an effort to make sure that we reach out to them, and they participate on this.
One last question for you, Maika. Have you presented before the Mill Valley Rotary Club by any chance?
I have not. I would love to present. I'm actually a Rotarian in Mission San Rafael,
Oh,
so
okay.
I would love to present there.
I have a friend who is always looking for speakers, so I'll mention you to him. Thank you for
Wonderful.
your presentation.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Susan Rowan.
Okay. First of all, I love Sabor of Spain and have been there. And I could see why you were the small business of the year. But also, you served on a school board. And as a former teacher, I think your commitment to have done that has been amazing. Now, I would like to know, you said donations. Could we donate to glamping and allow someone else to go in our stead? Fripp, what do you think of that? We'll donate and let someone else do the glamping work. But it sounds fascinating, and I love that you're working with Title I schools.
Mhm.
The Japanese, I think we learned it from another speaker, have a saying called forest bathing, that
Yes.
how we get ourselves de-stressed is being out in nature. And by the way, they said one of the reasons that they thought the Queen lived so long is she spent so much time at Balmoral in nature. And I'm glad that you're doing it as someone who taught at Title I schools. But here's what, on behalf of Patricia Fripp and myself, should we come, we would expect a Sabor of Spain meal from you, just to let you know.
Well, that is thank you very much, Susan. That's so funny because that is, people still remember. That was like in 2004, and I call it my moment of insanity, and it was extremely fun. But yeah, we would love to have you. I'm not sure, my chef from Sabor of Spain is now working in a different restaurant, but that is a little bit of the idea of the farm to table dinners, and the when we do this is like a communal tables, because I really believe that people come in that they don't know each other, and by the end of the night, they have new friends. So as a good Spaniard, I think the combination of food and community and friends is very important, and I feel very fortunate to sometimes to be able to do it, with more like a private groups, but definitely. So thank you. That's very lovely.
One more question. What part of Spain are you from?
Oh, I'm from Madrid.
Madrid.
So Madrileña.
Nights and 3 days in Madrid on my trip at the end. It was beautiful there. So
Beautiful.
Thank you. It's a fun city.
And the Prada.
Prada was amazing. I saw that in the Sofia, Reina Sofia.
The Reina Sofia, yeah.
Well, lucky us to have you here in Marin.
Thank you so much.
All right, next question, Antonio, the pitch freak. I saw your hand raised, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Great to have you back. Maika, incredible presentation. Thank you so much. Lo poco que hablo es de vergüenza. so I'm sorry about my Spanish is terrible, but I
buena
want to ask you.
sorpresa.
I love Spain so much. The question for you is, what are the operating requirements for Slide Ranch? How much are you trying to raise on an annual basis to keep the lights on and the doors open for folks? What is your annual request that you're trying to get from your donations and contributions?
Yeah, our annual budget is $1.5 million. So, and we do that by contributions, sometimes grants. Again, they earn revenue by, renting the site. Sometimes we do weddings, as we have mentioned that too. So it is 1.5.
Well, you guys keep a very tight budget over there, considering how many things that you guys are doing. That's amazing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. So I'm looking forward to visit you guys soon.
Wonderful.
Okay, any other questions? It's well worth the visit if you have not been. It's a beautiful facility, and hopefully the weeds that I pulled haven't grown back yet. But
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint, but they always come back,
it's come back. So it was beautiful. Maika, again, I had to talk with you about Spain. I enjoyed my trip to Spain, and now that I hear that you that you owned a restaurant, I'm gonna find out how to get blood sausage. Somebody recommended Burgos, that I got the blood sausage there, and it was phenomenal.
Oh, yes.
So I'm gonna have to find out where to get it.
Your favada.
There is a place called Spanish Table that they have some. So
On Clement Street.
Cool.
Oh,
yeah, they are also in Strawberry Village in Mill Valley, and I believe they're also in Berkeley.
Cool. All right. Any other questions? Christine, do you have? Yeah, there you go. I see your hand now.
Thank you. Era fabulosa esta presentación. It was a wonderful presentation. Thank you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
thrilled and delighted that's there. Just as an individual interested in exploring and finding out more, what is just the basic way I should approach going out and being prepared to do so? I don't have all of the experiences sound wonderful, so it's not exactly how I plan it as an individual, maybe taking a friend with me. What's the best way to contact you guys, or just to become familiarized, just without any specialized agenda?
Sure. Well, you can visit our website, and there is actually a section in there that it tells you how to get here. And then you can also, our number is in there as well, and you can also send us an email too. Any of those, just admin@slideranch.org with any questions. So, and just come to the adventure. It's fairly easy to hike. We get like kids from like babies all the way to over 100 years old, so yes. And we're only like 25 minutes from, I will say, from San Rafael, but it's like about half an hour from San Francisco. So it's not, we look like we are really far away, but we are not that far. So yeah, so we hope to see you soon.
It could be a fabulous day. And is there a way while we're there to have food, or should we bring food, or how does that work?
Yeah, you're welcome to bring a picnic. Definitely. And again, Pelican Inn is wonderful.
Okay.
There is a Good Earth supermarket on the way as well in Tam Junction. And then, of course, there is Stinson Beach, is like about 15 minutes from here as well. So
Wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you so very much. Gracias.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? I'm going to stop the recording. And Maika, we do appreciate you